So welcome to our video from RTR Learning on how to create your own Ethernet cables. In this video, we'll be demonstrating the basic techniques to basically come up with a finished product that looks similarly like this. You're going to want a finished Ethernet connection on the end of a cable, which allows you to create your own custom cables. So you may be wondering why in the world you'd want to do this, but in most standard home environments, Ethernet cables that are pre-made are typically too long, may not be long enough, and you find yourself either having to move equipment or make adjustments to accommodate for pre-made cables. Making Ethernet cables isn't nearly as hard as you would think, so we're going to talk about one, buy the cable from any home appliance store, Home Depot. It comes in a raw form with no connector on the end, and we're just simply going to teach you how to put the connector on the end. The connectors you can also pick up from pretty much any home appliance store. These connectors have a protector clip on the back, and they're clear. They basically look like giant phone cables. If you're old enough to remember what landlines were, landlines are dead, just saying. But essentially, these have 8 pins, and they're numbered from left to right with the clip facing backwards. So if you look up any wiring diagram, or if you download the cheat sheet that goes along with this video, or you're taking our Home Networking Basics course, you'll know that there's a specific order they tell you to put these pins in. Now, in the real world, it doesn't matter. As long as the pins match on both sides of the cable is going to work fine. But just because this video is about teaching people the right way to do things, we're going to go ahead and show you how to connect them and wire them up using the traditional standard pinning method. To do that, you're also going to need a stripper. This is a basic wire stripper you can get from any home appliance store. We don't actually use this for how I do it, but this is what you would use in normal circumstances to peel back the cable. What I use is a cable stripper. Much like you'd have to peel back coax to create cable ends, I use this to pretty much peel back any wire when installing networking, home theater, all of the above. Beyond that, you're going to need the crimper that actually attaches the head to the cable, and it comes in a 8-pin and 6-pin variation, which 6-pin is for phone cables. And don't worry if you're making Ethernet cables, because your connecting pin will not fit in there one way or the other. And it has a convenient stripping mechanism right there as well, which you could use if you want to. Or on this side, it has a cutter/stripper. So however you want to strip it back, I find the easiest way is to use my coax cutter, and you want to strip back about 1 inch of cable. And I say 1 inch, but if anything, you want to be generous in how much you strip back, because you can always cut the cables down shorter. If you cut them too short, then you'll have to restrip the cable. So I'm just going to throw this on here. I'm not going to be particularly accurate how I do it, and I'm going to spin that around. Spin that a little bit, and slides off. Now when this slides off, it reveals a number of colored wires that are contained within inside here. There are 4 different colors, and they vary in solid and stripes. You're going to notice a pattern as we create this, because it'll vary in the colors that we use. The pin configuration that is listed lists orange and white first. So untwist these. Orange and white striped next to orange. Every time you put a set next to each other, you want to try to straighten them out as much as possible, because remember, you're going to have to jam them into a pin towards the end. Next color set is green. Untwist the green and white. And we're going to want to actually sandwich the blue ones in between, but stick with the alternating and solid pattern. So green and striped is next. Solid blue is actually the color after that. So we're going to untwist these pairs. Solid blue, try to straighten those out a bit. Stripe blue, straighten those out a bit. Ooh, those aren't straight at all. So then we're going to do green. And then on the end is brown. Brown and white, then brown. You want to try to get these all lined up as straight as possible. Find bending the cables back and forth kind of straightens them out. When you're done, You see there are slight variations in the length. Like I said, if you have a crimper, you can simply straighten these to make this insertion as easy as possible, or to cut down the length of the cables. I'm actually going to cut these cables down a little bit more before I slide them in. So like I said, you want roughly an inch of cable showing on the end. That's actually straight enough to get them in the pen. Take the pen with the clip facing the back, slide it down over. Before you crimp it down, you want to double check the colors to make sure they're in the right order. Starting with the left pen, orange and white, then orange, then green and white striped, blue, blue and white, green, brown and white, brown. Take your crimper, slide them all the way into the end, and press all the way down. The end result is a fully attached cable. Now you have two sides to the cable that you can cut to custom lengths. This concludes our demonstration on how to make Ethernet cables. Feel free to visit our website to take the full course at www.rtrlearning.com, or feel free to browse our YouTube channel to view more videos.